Hello everyone and welcome back to the Berserk manga read through. We are starting volume 12 today, chapter 70. I'm very excited to be getting into things as we're getting into, we're getting closer and closer to a very specific event at this point in time, and it is quite interesting, the characters that we're interacting with and the allusions that are being made towards Griffith. So we had more Wild last time, and he has now been defeated at the hands of the immortal one, Zod. So he's come in and cleaned house, and now we are beginning a new volume where we have a lovely front cover for this one. And I actually love the cover art for volume 12. I've got it set as my background, which is like Griffith hatching out of the baylet like it's an egg, like a bird reborn, and I just think that is absolutely incredible visually. I love what that represents, and I love how that's been drawn as our cover art. So it's a very interesting piece of art to throw right on the front cover. So without further ado, volume 12, let's begin, let's get into it. So chapter 70, Requiem of the Wind, where we have sword and helmet and a glove as like a gravestone. So Requiem of the Wind. We are in the Midland border region with our sound effects. Whew, the wind hissing. Woo, over the hills, right? As all of the Band of the Hawk are gathered, with Casca facing them all. Some injured, most sorrowful, and Pippin and Judo being very solemn, with Guts sitting in the background observing. As he dashes his eye towards a cart off in the distance, which no doubt houses our fellow man, Griffith. And there he is. Hey, was that serious? It was bull, wasn't it? What that monkey monster was saying? Screw this, fine, I'll ask him myself. Forget it. Griffith's not able to answer you. The whole Band of the Hawk is absolutely stunned. This is the morale hit that they never expected to take. The leader that they have put in all of their faith towards rebuilding the Band of the Hawk has been shattered, learning these truths about what has happened to Griffith over the past year. Hey, it's a joke, right? Like, his throat's just rough from living in prison, so... what the hell? Weren't we going to start again here, huh? After Griffith came back, weren't we going to start over? All of a sudden we were framed as outlaws, running around in the woods for a year like bugs. More than half of us have been killed, but still, as long as Griffith came back to us, after believing that, now this? Draws his sword and just smashes it on the rock as the blade just bounces across Guts' feet. Hey, didn't I call it? I knew it. I knew something like this would happen. So now this is... Everyone knew how that ended, but not a man could bring himself to say it. Only the wind announced the end of the fight. Far out. That's a beautiful shot of just absolute despair from the entire band. What do we do from here on? All of us. What do we do? It's not like the Band of the Hawk's been wiped out. We have you, Commander Casca. Griffith made the Band of the Hawk. Everyone should realize that. If you're still here, all the more. But to that end, the one who's given the most this year is Casca. Don't ask even more of her. Judo. But in that case, Guts clenches his fists and stands up. Give me some time. There's still time until we join up with the other unit. Let me think about this until then. Hey, wait up. What do you plan to do once you're done thinking? Don't tell me you... What were you about to tell them back there? Huh? To finish the battles that you start. Pretty strong, aren't you? Since you started the battle, I guess it's not something you can give up on. But you can say such things. But can you say such things to Griffith the way he is now? Everyone's weak, and so they rely on the dreams and other people. I wonder what you can do for someone who's lost what they rely on. Kind words, stern rebukes. I wanted someone to be near me. Oh man, they totally just have to have this embrace right in eyeshot through the gap of the carriage so Griffith can again witness that and watch that happen. I'm going to check on Griffith. Griffith, let's change those bandages. Someone near me. That's the end of Requiem of the Wind. That's such a solemn chapter and an insight into how integral Griffith is to the entire band. You can have Casca, right? And you can have Guts. Incredible soldiers, incredible commanders and leaders, but the entire band was formed from Griffith and his dream and his vision and how he's been able to have such a handle on his men, to achieve all of those victories. And to tell however many men are out there on that hill with as little words as you can, that's like, hey, this is kind of it. We've been kind of carrying away on this dream of rescuing him so we can continue for the past year, and we rescue him, we get what we want, and it's not at all what we thought it would be. And it's just a very quiet, introspective chapter that I really, really appreciate, because it's been really hectic for the past few chapters, especially last episode. There's been some crazy shit going on, so it's really nice for the story to take a little breather in that regard. So we'll jump into chapter 71 now. We'll go straight into that, and we'll see how that story will continue. So we've got the Warriors of Twilight. It's kind of a cute, playful shot of Casca and Guts as Casca continues to mend the bandages of Griffith. I didn't know his hands were this small. He tried to grasp everything with these hands. Just by placing them on my shoulder, he could somehow ease my trembling. Time after time, they would erase my anxiety. Whoops. She tied it a bit too tight. Yanked on it. Huh? Now it's my turn to be the one to do that, yet. She knocks the bowl of water. Sorry, I'll go get another blanket. Oh, and in that instant, Griffith, like, pushes himself forward and, like, lunges on top of Casca. Griffith! Griffith! Stop! He's like trembling on top of her, and then just lies there. Man, Griffith's behavior. Like, obviously these are very intentionally drawn in a way that you can tell how Griffith is trying to embrace Casca right now. And how he's been viewing and observing Guts and Casca right now. And, you know, what that means. Very complex man, this Griffith. And we very, very rarely get an insight into what he's actually thinking. Man, oh man, this has turned into a real mess. Yeah, good dreams, bad dreams. It's still unfortunate to wake up in the middle of one. So, what are you going to do now? Go back to training? Doesn't say anything, but then just says, you? Let's see. Guess I'll invite who's left to start a thieves group. That way, at least we can look after Griffith. In that case, me too. You've already separated yourself. There's no obligation for you to go that far. Is there one for you? There is. I'm still a hawk. But you're different. You've already started your own battle. Those who can't stand get left behind. Isn't that the ironclad rule of the battlefield? Otherwise you can't survive. But that's that. Over there. You should take Casca with you this time. I actually love Judo as a character. He's such a beautiful, well-written character. Except for, like, just the funny observation that whenever there is a new enemy or a new group or anyone that introduces themselves, Judo's like, I've heard about these. These are these people. Like, Judo's, like, tactics is know exactly who the enemy is, pull out some fancy knife moves, refuse to elaborate, leave. He's a good boy, though. She's way too serious to lead thieves. Happy-go-lucky's the way of the thief. I couldn't stand one so stiff-shouldered. Take her with you, even if you have to drag her this time. If you don't, Judo. Captain! Captain Guts! What's up, guys? You need something? Captain, you planning to run off alone again like before? Huh? If you do, please let us go with you, Captain. You guys. All of us raiders have decided not one of us is against it. That's right, we can all still fight. We raiders are the toughest in the Band of the Hawk. We'll be mercenaries or whatever, as long as our captain's with us. Captain! Captain Guts, please! Gaston, your clothing shop. The proclamation's all over Wyndham. It's out of the question. Besides, these guys are like family to me now. I can't leave them. And as long as you're with us, we'll figure something out. And then there's a flashback to what Judo was saying to Guts on pretty much like one of his first nights being in the band when everyone was celebrating their victories. I'm sure you'll find it here. The place where you belong. The place I belong. Maybe it did exist. I was too stupid and stubborn to notice it. But what I really wished for back then was here. Back then. Why do I always see these things after they're done and gone? We have Casca sitting slouched by the carriage. Almost a cold sweat. Hey. Guts! How's Griffith? Yeah, he just fell asleep. Something wrong? What? Like what? Nothing, really. So she's crying. Hey, what's wrong? What happened? You're wrong. It's nothing. So you're crying over nothing? Did something happen with Griffith? No. Stop it. That's not it. Hey. Sorry. I can't go. Huh? I can't go with you. Griffith. He's so small now. So fragile. That proud Griffith is so... I can't leave him. There's no way I can leave Griffith like that. I'm sorry. Sorry. Me too. You won't hang from anyone's dream. You fight your own battles, right? Do you still remember that night at Primrose Hall? Yeah. Someone who would never depend upon another's dream. Someone who wouldn't be compelled by anyone, but would determine and pursue his own reason to live. And should anyone trample that dream, he would oppose him body and soul. Even if the threat were me myself. That is what I think a friend is. You have to go. If you're Griffith's friend and equal, you have to. And what I think is really beautiful about this is, not even beautiful, I don't know why beautiful came out. What I think is really, sort of interesting at that point is we are given a showcase here. We are given a little brief glimpse that Griffith is not asleep, and he is overhearing this conversation, and he can hear this. So this is confirmation finally at this point, so much later on, past the fact of this happening, is that Griffith now knows that Casca and Guts heard him say this to Charlotte about what he would consider a friend and all that kind of stuff, because this one speech that he said to Charlotte changed everything. This was a very huge turning point from how Guts viewed Griffith as a person and as a friend. And like, did he see him as a friend? Maybe. But then when he heard this, he was like, Griffith does not view me as a friend or an equal. And that, like, ultimately inspired Guts to rethink his decisions and his choices to then leave the band. So this is a very interesting conversation to have, that he is now overhearing. You have to go, even if it's alone. You have to go. And then, why do I always see things after they're done and gone? That's the Warriors of Twilight ending as well. Two of my favorite chapters back to back, with, like, in terms of character interaction, really good character writing. Like, this is, like I said, is such a bittersweet moment for the band, because it's a moment of peace. We know that it's not a moment of lasting peace, but it is a moment of peace between the band, and everyone is at a crossroads in determining where to go, what to do, what do we do now, coming up with that sort of plan. Obviously we know that it's not going to go the way that anybody wants it to, which is a shame, but we will continue into chapter 72. So we'll see how chapter 72 goes after the Warriors of Twilight has been done. But we're continuing right where we left off of the even if it's alone, you have to go, with Griffith again, with his eyes wide open, listening to this. Berserk, there we go. Back Alley Boy. Oh wow. Okay, so Are you ready for this? We've got a Griffith episode. It's a Griffith chapter. What do you fear in this place? He is seeing his former self standing right above him, full armor as he used to be in his prime. And he points towards the castle of his dreams. As he grabs onto the sword, holding onto it desperately. As Griffith as a child runs past. Let's go. We're not done playing yet. The sun still hasn't gone down. He watches his child self run off into the light in the distance. They can hear the screams. I wonder how would this work? Would I have to hold my tongue to then simulate the screaming to not have a tongue, where it's just like is probably what it sounds like to some extent. Griffith. And obviously we're now seeing like the clattering of the horse carriage. Off it goes. Griffith. No way. How? He shouldn't be able to do more than crawl on his own. He might have heard us. Yes, let's do everything within his earshot and eyeshot of just like kissing, cuddling, being romantic, talking about leaving. Let's just do like all of that right in front of him. Because he can only crawl, right? Anyway, I'll follow him. You tell Judo and the others. Damn it. Damn it. God damn it. And somehow he's managing in his mouth. Griffith's internal thoughts. More Griffith internal thoughts. A very rare thing that we are blessed with. Yes. I rested a bit too long. I've got to go now. This playtime still hasn't ended. As he follows off the visual of his child self. That back alley cobblestone path still goes on. Naturally hits a rock. Crash. Thrown out of the carriage. Which probably at this point, if this wasn't a story that needed to continue with him in the way that it does, he just falls on a rock and breaks his back and he's gone. Griffith. Griffith. Supper time. Oh, were you sleeping? I'm sorry, but I have to let some breeze in. Cuss. What? Is something on my face? Where am I? Daydreaming again. Was it about the past? Dream. Oh. So that was... We don't get to see our old friends much these days. I wonder what they're all doing. I wonder if he's still swinging his sword around somewhere. You know, when I think about it now, everything that happened seems like a dream. It'd make a good fairy tale for the boy. Hey, I said wait. Hey now, Guts. Don't bully Pippin. Wash your hands and come eat. How bizarre is this visual, right? Okay, Mom. A lot has happened. It's all memories now. I think I'm better suited to this lifestyle. With you and the boy. Just the three of us. That's true. This peace and quiet isn't so bad. And then the visual in the soup on the ladle. A familiar looking obscured face appears out of the liquid. Flashback to reality. We have Griffith flying through the air. Just like such an interesting thought to him to flash to is almost like, oh, maybe it was all a dream and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be happy with Casca, with a child, and like, it was all a dream, and Guts is actually just my child, and Pippin is the dog, and like, all like weird stuff. Like, But then Casca also makes a direct reference to Guts being like, I wonder if he's off swinging his sword somewhere. Such an interesting like amalgamation of thoughts, because dreams are never really clear, and they always throw different things at you at the same time. But he's being flown through the air, splashing right into the like swamplands or a marsh or something like of that effect, and he stands up or sits up to a broken arm, because he's very fragile, lets out a bit of a chuckle, and then tries laughing. And oh my god, I forgot about this part. This is a contemplation of ending it all at this point. He sees the very sharp, pointed tip of a tree and rests his neck right on top of it. You guys ready? Are you guys ready? And as it slowly begins to pierce his neck, just intense, like all of the water like that he was submerged in rushing down to his face, he just pushes right down on it. Shunk. As the blood drops into the water, and he just skirted past his neck. As he lets out an exacerbated grunts and wheezes, and tears begin to stream down his face. We then have this scene. As we see the sun off in the distance. The dragonflies surrounding Griffith. And he looks in the water. A very familiar shape attached to a string. He goes to grab this out of the water, and it's the Baelet. The Baelet is finally with him again, as destiny has decided it would be. That is the end of Back Alley Boy. As we see the eye of the Baelet slightly ajar, almost as if to see who has picked it up. And we'll move right into chapter 73 to continue this tale, which is called Eclipse. And this is the volume 12 cover art of the Baelet being as a figure hatching out of the Baelet like an egg. And that is one of my favorite shots ever. It is one of my favorite visuals from the anime on how that is drawn, as he, arm extended, the one working arm, holds the Baelet out in shock. It will return to your hand, because that's how it is. Use it. Call them our guardian angels. As the wind again washes over the hills, such an eerie sound being made, as Griffith now has exactly what he needs to do something very drastic. Griffith, was it me? The one who drove you? Was I the one who brought all this upon you? What should I do? What do you want of me? What can I do? Once I catch up to you, what then? What then? What the? That was careless. I never thought we'd be overheard by him. This will just drive Griffith further into a corner. How thoughtless of me. There he is. Oh, hey, look. And the entire band, Guts, Casca, all of them looking out at Griffith. And we begin to see the sun. Masked by another circular object in the sky, and an eclipse begins to form. That's a solar eclipse. Could this be? blood is trickling down from his neck on the side, all the way down his bandages, right into the hand that he holds the bayonet in. And watch the eyes for the bayonet open. I actually think I'll correct myself from the end of the previous chapter. I think that's actually the mouth that was ajar, and not the eyes. The eyes were these. For some reason, I thought the mouth might have been down here. Never mind. I will correct myself. The eye was not open. It was just the mouth. The eyes now begin to open with the blood touching the bayonet. Griffith! Riding towards him desperately, which would just literally trigger nothing but a fear response out of Griffith at this point, as he begins to desperately flail backwards. Stay away! Stay away! The eclipse completes. The eclipse is now formed, and an amount of shadowy figures can be seen in the distance behind Griffith. And they're all of human form, but different shapes, different sizes, different postures. All appearing as soon as the eclipse has been completed, but slowly we begin to see that they are not so human. They are human-like, but more monstrous in appearance and nature. There's an eerie will about them. Who are they? When did they? Pursuers? The Midland Army? I don't know. I don't know, but they're dangerous. Griffith! To which we have Griffith still in his head. Stay away. Stay away. If you touch me now, if you put your hand on my shoulder now, I'll never again with you. Of course, he reaches out to grab Griffith and does place his hand on his shoulder. Only for the bailiff's eyes to open even more. The eyes have obviously shifted, the mouth shifted to form a complete face as blood trickles down the eyes of the bayonet. It is being activated. The Great Ones are being summoned. It lets out a scream as Guts and Griffith, the liquid beneath them, separates. And we are then warped into a absolutely beautifully drawn, maddening reality of surrounded by faces have now become the sky of many different forms. And the ground begins to follow suit, where all that can now be seen is nothing but the shape of multiple faces on the ground and in the sky, with the eclipse ever looming in the sky. And that is the end of Eclipse, where it's just getting very serious now. We were like, what are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do after Griffith? We're all gonna go off and do our own thing, right? Wrong. As we move now into chapter 74 with a butt. We've been gifted a butt for our chapter, which is the promised time. There's wings involved here. I wonder if this is similar to the butterfly looking ass demon that we saw before in a previous chapter, around when Rickert was having who was still on his own, their unit got attacked by demons and Skull Knight dropped in to save him. Or is this our lovely friend from Black Swordsman arc, which it's been so long. It's been so long I've almost forgotten. Who's our lovely fairy friend? Oh no. Puck. God, there you go. I got it. I haven't said that name in a while, so it's almost left me. I was like, maybe that could be Puck, but I don't think Puck would be here. That seems like much more of a monster to me. Yeah, there we go. There's Rickett. So it is, yeah. I think that was specifically tied to that. So it's that like butterfly looking demon that could be seen in Rickett's encampment. So he is here. There we go. Hey, you. Hey. Eh? We're here, the border. Thank you for all your trouble. Will you be alright? Hey, hold up a moment. Take this with you. It's medicine, our troop's secret remedy. It works on wounds, fevers, stomachs, aches, everything, anything. You look like you're about to collapse any minute. Thank you very much, troop leader, sir, for everything. Really. Goodbye. Take care of yourself. Now, what do you suppose was wrong with that boy? He looked pale as death. Maybe something truly frightening happened to him. There he goes. Won't you see him off? See him off? You gotta be kidding. Oh, hang on. Oh, it is Puck. It is Puck. Oh, wow. Okay, this is great. I can instantly see how this is being done, and I love that. So, this is great. So, interestingly enough, Puck is here with whatever the hell is going on here. So like a circus troupe or whatever, I assume. And this is like a guy who's got his like masks and whatever, performer. And behind the curtain, we have a shadow. And I love that I can instantly tell that this is most likely a lighting trick where we've got like Puck is standing in front of like a lamp or a lantern, and the light is making his shadow extended in size, like a shadow puppet on the curtain. But it's an unrecognizable. What's the opposite of that? Very recognizable silhouette. The second he saw me, he freaked out, just like he'd seen a ghost or something. They exist sometimes, you know, especially in cities where folks don't believe in ghosts and whatnot. I bet he's a rich kid from some cozy place in Midland. Or else maybe he got messed with too much by some of my buds. Let's see. Perhaps we'll peek into the boy's future. What's this? What's up? An evil omen. An incredible calamity is about to occur. The stars have gathered on that boy's path. A huge number of evil stars with a giant white star at their core, as if they swirl about it. It's Kaito! No, is it Rago? The giant white star is now being concealed by the moon's conjunction. Note, conjunction is a new moon. Note, the star that suddenly appears in the night sky and scares people is called Kaito. The star that steals light from the sun or moon and causes an eclipse is called Rago. Along with other imaginary stars, they are ancient legends. There you go again, old lady. I don't get it. Say it a little simpler. I've never seen a star arrangement like this. An evil omen, a most terrible one. A sign of calamity that could enfold an entire country. No, the whole world. Yeah. You cannot tell me that does not Puck at this point with his face in the orb. I've missed this face, huh? He's our lovely lightheartedness of the serious tone of Berserk. I don't really get it. If it's that bad, shouldn't we keep him from leaving? No, we mustn't. The boy has a large effect on this gathering. That he was here now in itself is evidence of that. It's his fate. Causality. To interfere recklessly in one's fate is against my principles. No, it's impossible to do such a thing in the first place. Everyone is how they are, how they must be. All the more if it's something that involves the whole world. After all, what determines a good omen or bad omen is human reason. None are able to measure the ways of good. What's the point in dressing that up? In other words, what will be, will be. Hey, look! What's that? The sun is... Huh? What? What? Ah, wait, I wasn't done. That you and that boy happen to cross paths here might also be a part of God's grand scheme. And off this mystery character whisks away to go see the sky. An eclipse. It's ominous. I've got a bad feeling. Has something happened to everyone? Now that's something you don't see every day. Like a huge hole. Yeah, there we go. Landing on the head. Hey, I thought I told you not to land on people's heads, Puck. It's not like you're getting any bolder. There he is. I'll bet some big god or devil or something is peeking right through that hole. Puck cameo. He's back. As we see the eclipse, where it almost, in the way that it's drawn here, does look like an eye being peeked through. Look at that. God damn. What? What happened? What's going on? Where? What the hell? As Caucus looks down just to see like faces like writhing in pain and agony. What is this? Where the hell are we? Hey, weren't we just riding through a meadow? Weren't we? Are we dreaming while we ride along, or else, without noticing it, did we die? Calm down. Calm down? How the hell am I supposed to calm down? Shut up! Keep cool. Don't dwell on what you can't understand. Do what you can do. Everyone in a tight formation. No one strays. Guts, get Griffith on a horse. Even in a situation like this, I know. She's quite a woman. More so than I thought. Can you stand, Griffith? Pulls him up, realizing that the bayonet is wrapped around his hand, dripping with blood. That's really odd. Why is this here now? I'm sure he didn't have this when we rescued him. And what are those? Tears of blood. The shape's different too. That's right. At that instant, when the world went weird. Did this do it? Ugh. As we see that same blood trickling down from Griffith's face into the water. Griffith. Big sis, look! As we look out onto the distance of the massive landscapes of giant faces, those monstrous figures are once again on the horizon, looking even more ferocious and disturbing than the last time we saw them. What? Who are they? When did they? The time has come. The time of the great nocturnal festival. The feast that happens once every 216 years. The eclipse. These monstrous figures ever looming, just becoming more and more disturbing in their appearance. Eclipse. They come. They are coming. The advent. The sovereigns of the supreme beings. The advent of the four guardian angels. And it begins. The summoning of the four. And that is the end of the promised time. As we begin to see one of the four emerging from the landscape. And I think that brings this episode to an end. Unfortunately, that brings this one to an end. So next time we will be picking up where this chapter leaves off, where the eclipse has begun. It has all started now, and there is no turning back from this. Next time we will be reading, starting with chapter 75, which is Advent. And the chapters to follow. So we're getting into the heaviest heaviest of events right now where nothing will ever be the same again. So guys, thank you so much for reading along with me and listening to me ramble about Berserk. I hope you have enjoyed this episode because it's been one of my favorite ones so far. I've really enjoyed reading through these chapters, and I will see you next time.